Welcome to the Zera Shimshon Shir. This is Yosef Lange. Today is Yud Tes Nisan, Tafshin Pei, and it's the fourth day of the Omer, just in case you wanted to count. And I did a little covet for you, so you show the covet of Yom Tov, the Chol HaMoed, it's such a Kedusha, and we're going to learn more about Kedusha. I think this Shir will also, you wouldn't have such an appreciation for the Shir maybe even a couple of months ago, maybe even a couple of weeks ago. But you're going to see what I mean when I start doing the shir. It's the shir of separations. Okay? That's what I call it. This is the Zera Shimshon from Parshat Shmini, which is the upcoming Parshat Shavua. And this is Vav in this week's Parsha. Midrash the Yalkut says in Remez Taf Kuf Lamed, he says there, Tanya Seder Havdalais Ketzad. It's the system of separations. So it goes through a number of different separations. Hamavdo ben kodesh l'chol, we know that from saying every Motzei Shabbos. Ben or l'choshech, we know that from Breshis. Ben Yisrael l'amim, between the Jewish people and the other nations. Ben Yom Hashvi l'sheshes yom ha'amarsa, between the seventh day and the other 6 days of work. Ben Tami l'tor, between pure and not pure. Between the upper waters and the lower waters, between the Kohanic peers and the Leviim and the Yisraelim. Ad kan l'shayin. That's the end of the Midrash, and he's going to explain it in detail. The signon of Midrash hu kachu. The order of the Midrash is this way. Okay, hashta de chazinin havdala ben kodesh l'chol. Since we see there's a separation between holy and not holy, right? Weekday, or not weekday, but it's not holy. Al korcha tzorich liyos gam havdalah bein or l'choshet. So now we're forced to say there's got another separation between light and dark. This is all based on the psukim in Breshis. Kol ha-midrash soive v'hoylech al seder zeh. So the whole midrash is surrounding or going around this order. In the beginning, God separated between holy and profane, or not holy, right? It's a Midrash Rabbah. In the beginning of creation, God looked in the future at the deeds of the righteous and the evil people. And that's why he created two worlds. Let tzaddikim me'olam haba. To the future, that tzaddikim, he created the future world. Well, the Rishayim, he created olam hazeh. The came the ikar tzaddikim Rishayim. Since there's righteous people and there's wicked people, akorcha tzarich havdalah bein or l'choshet. So we're forced to go to the next stage, which is the difference between light and dark. Kedamina b'midrash. Ray, Kim, or Ra, it's a Midrash Rabbah there, Yud Aleph, in Breshis Rabbah, Shira'ah, She'ena Ilam Ra'i Le'stamish La'oirei. So God said, I don't think it's fitting for the world to use the light of the Breshis, that's called the Oraganus. The Ganzai Let Tzadikim La'asei Novoi. So he hid it for the Tzadikim in the future world. Now, of course, this Or HaGanuz is all over it's hidden in the Torah that we learn, and especially in the Nistar part of the Torah, but not everybody has access to it. That's what he means, and he saw the light, the radiance, ki toiv, because it was good. And he separated the light from the darkness. Since there's a differentiation between light and dark, so now we go to the next stage, which is the difference between the sun and the moon. Like it says in the pasuk, so it's going to be day and night. Since God decreed that there should be light and day and night, there should be light and dark. So there shall be also the the sun and the moon. And when there's a difference between the moon and the sun, then there's a difference between the Jewish people and the rest of the world. I mean, in Midrash it says in the Yalkut there, in Breshis, Remes Ches, and the Pasuk it says, Limshol b'yayim v'alayla. What does it mean have to be ruling in the day and the night? What does that mean? Derech Eretz, Gadol, Moine legadol. The cotton, Moine lekatan. So it should be Derech Eretz that the greater one should be appointed for the greater one, and the smaller one should be appointed to the smaller one. Okay, it's a Seder hierarchy in the creation. So ma'achama zu shaletes b'yayim v'alayla. The sun is ruling over the day and not at night. So kach also Esav yesh lo chelik ba'olam hazeh ve'en lo chelik ba'olam haba. So it's also Esav has a portion in this world, a bigger portion, and he doesn't have a portion in the world to come. Ma halavana shaletes b'yayim v'alayla. Just but the moon is ruling over the day and the night, because you could see the moon in the daytime, and it has an effect on the atmosphere also. So also the Jewish people have effect in this world and the world to come. And that's the separation between the Jewish people and the non-Jewish. That's this separation between the Jewish people and the world, rest of the world, the nations, is maybe this also brings us to the separation of the Jews keep Shabbos. The Almina b'Sanhedrin Perek Zayin, it says in Daf Nun Tes Omid Aleph there, the Ben Noyach Shel Shabbos Mimalacha Chayev Misa. If a non-Jew keeps Shabbos, he doesn't work on Shabbos, he's obligated death. Why? The warning is their death. Only Jewish people can keep Shabbos. So it's a very big privilege, right? There's no difference by non-Jews the rest of the week. There's no difference. They try to keep Shabbos. They can't. They don't know the halachas anyway. And even if they knew, there was their chayav misa. That's why it's a very good separation to say this lashon, the seventh day to the other days of work of the week, of doing things. It doesn't say there's a separation between Sabbath and weekday. It doesn't say that. It says the Yom HaShvi, which is the seventh day, which is the day of elevation. Now, there's a next hevdel, the Yesh Hevdel Binami Ben Tami Latar. And that brings us to the next separation between what's impure and what's pure. The Kol Mini Ruchais Atuma Nimtarim B'Shabbos. It's a Parshat at Zera and Parshas Breshis, and we say this we say this in the Kigavno, which is a parsha from Parshas Truma and the Zohar. It says v'kol dini misabrimina v'iu istaras b'yechuda d'nehiru akadisha. V'kol shutani rugzin omar dedina kula arkim misabrimina. All forces of evil, all mazikim, are separated from the Shabbos. They can't take the kedusha, and they have to run away. So that's what he's saying over here also. And furthermore, oid amina b'saita, the Gemara in Saita says the ha-tahara not lo. Now, this is a Gemara I have to look up at the Mem Ches over there. It says once they lost the tahara from the world, then the time of the peiros was taken and the reach. So we don't have the full flavor and the full taste of the fruits that we have, even the organic, even if it grows in Israel. So with the fruits tasted so much better when we were in the time of the Beis Hamikdash because we had tahara, we had purity. In Maseches Shabbos it says Naf Kuf Yotes Aminin Tavlin Echad Yesh Lanu v'Shabbos Shema. We have a spice. It's called Shabbos. Kol HaMishamer says Shabbos Nena Mimenu. Anybody who keeps Shabbos, he has everybody knows that cholent tastes better on Shabbos. Everything tastes better on Shabbos. The challah, the cholent, the wine. V'Tavlin Shel Shabbos Reicha Neidav Mipnei Shaboy V'Yom Shavsu Amazikim in Oilam. Why does it taste better? Why does it smell better? Because There's no mazikim. There's no pollution of tuma in the world. Why is it that you're missing the purity? So it's taken away the flavor and the taste and the smell. So when we're impure, the power of tuma has the power to rule over the world. So therefore, even Shabbos has, since it's a higher elevation and those polluters are not around, so there's a difference even in the food between the time, the smell and the taste of the food on Shabbos. We know how much separation there is between tuma Torah. I'm sorry. So we've lost the flavor and the taste of the fruits because of the tuma. Since we go out to the next separation, since there's a difference between being pure and impure, so this is a little bit more spiritual, but we'll get it. Okay, because in heaven, where the amayim al-yainim is, that's where that's a complete place of purity. And the land, the earth down here in this world was where the mayim tachtonim is. So it's a place of sin and tuma and impurity. So the praises of HaKadosh Baruch Hu come both from the lower waters and the upper waters. It says in Tehillim, "Mikolos mayim rabim adim mishbarayam." V'noida shamayim atachtenim loy pirshu mayim alyonim. So we know that at the time of the creation, the mayim tachtenim separated with great bitter tears from the mayim alyonim. Why? El mitach bechia. Shenamar says in Iyov, mibechi nahares chovash. It says in Breshis, that's a pasuk in Iyov Chavches. And it says in the Midrash Breshis Rabbah, on the pasuk says in Breshis Aleph, Yikavu hamayim, all the waters should gather together. Shehoyo mispachadim leredis lemakam tuma. The mayim tachtonim, which is down here, they were afraid to come down because there was a place of tuma. Pen yolo yuchlo oy lekalis lekadosh baruch hu, because they were afraid that they might not be able to praise God anymore. Kimaysha oisim hamayim elyonim, like the upper waters do all the time. Shem b'makam kedusha, because that's a place of holiness. And the praises of God only go up from a place that's pure. So so God promised them, okay, we'll make a compromise. You're going to be able to sweeten the lower areas of Gashmias. For example, you salt meat, it tastes better. You salt meat, it makes it pure, right? We can eat it now. And now most of the world's water is salt water, right? So what we use, the salt is part of the water. We use it to salt the karbonis on the mizbeach. Kol karboncha takriv melach, right? We put salt on every korban. Az nisratzu, and therefore makes it pleasing to God. So how were they satisfied with this little tidbit, as they say, right? It was a nothing, a little bit of salt, right? They were afraid that the water would go down and become contaminated like the earth. They would lose their merit, their privilege to praise God with songs. But when they heard that the world was going to be sweetened by them, so they would be part of giving flavor to the meat and being put on the mizbeach, so they separated from the mayim alyonim and they went down. This is a sign that they wouldn't become contaminated. The Kashi Yesh Tahara, Yesh Tam Beperes. Again, when there's Tahara, when there's purity down below, there's a tam, there's a good flavor in the fruits. This is a midrash. I'm sorry, a Mishnah in Kalim Perek Zayin Mishnah Yud Gimel Kol Sheba Yam Tar. It says there in a general praise that anything in the sea is pure. Not only that, but water purifies those people that are tamei and brings them to tahara. So therefore, the waters are used to praise God as well. So now we see there's no reason, there's no way to praise God only from a holy place, in a pure place. So all those that serve God must be separated from all tumah and be pure and separate. Oh, God, we got to be separate. So those that serve God, for example, the kohanim in the Beis Hamikdash, and even today, they are not allowed to become tamei mace, right? Even though everybody's tamei mace, but they are still not allowed this in Isa Deraisa. The Kishem Shah Kohanim Heim Muvdalim Mechmes Avoidasam, just like the Kohanim are separated because of their service, Ra'alavim Tzrichem Liyos Muvdalim Mechmes Duchanim. So the Levim also, they sing the praises of God in the Beis Hamikdash, B'meherav Yameinu, soon in our days. So they have to play the instruments and sing the songs, the Shir Amalis and everything, because in the Beis Hamikdash. So they have to also be separate. Ve'elu oichlim truma, the Kohanim eat truma, ve'elu meiser, and the Levim eat meiser. Everything has to be done by purity. Ve'kulu mishulchan gavoya zacha, and all of them they get their praise from their portion, rather not praise. They get their portion from the holy temple. I'll just give you one small segula because this was a really long piece. And this is from Torah Wellsprings again, Rabbi Biederman. He said, another segula for Parnasa is to be cautious with one's eyes. As it states, V'haman einoi ke'ein habadoilach. The Beis Avram Zecher Tzadik Avracha says that the pasuk is hinting to the Haman, means one's Parnasa is in accordance with the amount he is cautious with his ayin, his eyes. That's what it says, Haman, in other words, the Parnasa. Einoi ke'eina b'doilach, you got to be separated with your eyes and don't look at things you're not supposed to not look at. Have a good tavach, a good mayid, a good gesund yom tov, and we'll be able to speak next week.